I don't know how people on YouTube do this, but this is the fourth take. The first take was, I don't know what happened to the first take. First takes never make it. The second take was interrupted by a phone call. The third take was just not good. And the fourth take is this one. Anyway, hi, welcome to Off Script. My name is Anushka. This is going to be another chill, slow vlog. I'm going to be talking about everything that's going on, everything that I've been thinking about, everything that I've watched, all the books that I've read in the month of February up until now, which is today's March 8th. So, up until today, I will be talking about all of those books that I've been reading and the one that I'm reading right now. It's a very short list. I thought that I would make a February wrap up video where I just talk about books that I read in February, but it's just 3 books. And I mean, it can be a reel, it doesn't have to be a YouTube video, right? So, I read 2 more books in the month of March, as in the first week of March, and now I'm reading the 3rd book. So I think that's a pretty good roster there. And I'm having coffee in the middle of the day because free will, adult money, and I'm 25 years old, I can do anything. Okay, let's get into the video. You'll find me on YouTube on those occasions when I'm completely burnt out on Bookster. I feel absolutely overwhelmed, and that has started to happen in the past few weeks, months, I'd say. There are so many new book recommendations coming in every single day, so many book reviews, there are so many accounts to follow. I'm not acting like a saint. I am part of the problem and the process. But yeah, it's just too much for this little brain to take in. I remember I used to watch a lot of YouTube back in 2020, during COVID, during the pandemic. And for 2 years straight, I was watching a lot of BookTube. And I'm sure you know of this booktuber called Emmy. Oh my god, she's such a sweetheart. And I used to watch her vlogs daily. And that was the only account maybe that I followed. And the other one was Carly's account. She's such a cool person. I would love to meet her someday. I don't think I discovered Jack Edwards during the pandemic. It was later that I did. I've been watching a lot of movies these days, but not very cinematic art house films. I've been watching Bollywood bangers, okay? I've been watching old Bollywood movies. And by old, I mean 2010s, 2000s, those decades, right? So I actually started that list with Ek Main Aur Ek Tu, which stars Imran Khan and Kareena Kapoor. And for the first time, I was so shocked to see Imran Khan not in a rom-com. I don't know how you interpreted that movie, and I don't know how it was marketed at the time, but it isn't a rom-com, right? It's basically 2 people who became friends. One of them fell in love and the other one rejected them, and in the end, they're still friends. That was such a fresh take, if you ask me, when it comes to Bollywood movies. I haven't seen any movie like that. Has a very linear storyline, honestly. It was enjoyable, not something that I'll watch again, but it was great. And the second one was another Imran Khan movie called Gori Tere Pyar Mein, and I kind of liked it. I liked it. I thought that I wouldn't. So basically the story is about this guy, played by Imran Khan, who is set to marry this girl, played by Shraddha Kapoor, and Shraddha is in love with this Punjabi guy, while Imran Khan is also in love with Kareena Kapoor. And then from there, we see the flashback of how he met Kareena, how they ended up falling in love with each other, and then what happened, why did they break up, and in the end, how did he win her heart and all of that, the basic format-based stories. Then the third movie that I watched was Billu, okay, Billu Barber. I don't know why they changed the name. I have no idea why they changed the name. I remember when I was younger, it was called Billu Barber, and then it was Billu. I'm gonna do a deep dive on this. It was excruciatingly boring. I have no other words to explain how boring it was. It took me a week to reach halfway through the movie. And yeah, no, I can't recommend it. I can't even tell you what happened in the end because I just couldn't sit through it. Then I was like, you know what? I haven't watched a K-drama in a very, very long time. The last time that I watched anything was 2 years back when I started. When I started, I watched 5 in a row. And after that, I just stopped because it was making me so love sick. I was like, you know what? I cannot go through this anymore. I I need a love like theirs. And yeah, it was sweet, but at the same time, it was so painful to watch. Like, I mean, where can I find a love like this? But anyway, I started watching Crash Course in Romance, not Crash Landing on You. Crash Course in Romance. I actually started watching it because they showcase such delicious food. Once I finished that, I started watching Hometown Cha Cha Cha, which is one of my favorites. And oh my god, just so tender and sweet. I was crying by the end of it. I still feel like crying now that I think about it. Then yesterday I started watching Hasi To Fasi. It was going well actually. I don't know why I stopped watching it yesterday. Maybe I got busy, didn't complete it. And today I'm watching this animated series called Undone. I'm only on the second episode, and this is one of those series that you know would be good, that you know is a banger. Coming to books now. I am sure people have heard me talk about this book multiple times and they don't want to hear me talk about this anymore. But Gachar Gochar. Gachar Gochar is the book that you need to read. Since I would do such a bad job at telling you what the synopsis is, let me read it out. From a cramped, ant-infested house to a spacious bungalow, a family finds itself making a transition in many ways. The narrator, a sensitive young man, is numbed by the swirl around him. All he can do is flee every day to an old-world cafe where he seeks solace from an oracular waiter. As members of the family realign their equations and desires, new strands are knotted, others come apart, and conflict brews dangerously in the background. Masterfully translated from the Kannada by Srinath Perur, Gachar Gochar is a suspenseful, playful, and ultimately menacing story about the shifting consequences of success. At the start of this book, this family is shown in a situation where they have to keep pai ka hisab, and suddenly they come into a lot of wealth, and how their temperament changes, how their relationships change. The words are intricately woven, and the fact that the translator has done such a good job that even in English it feels so good to read. I can't even imagine how it would be like in Kannada. When you read the book in the original language, I'm sure it's a different feeling, it's a different sentiment altogether. So please read if you haven't already. The next one is this book called Once Upon a Curfew by Shrishti Chaudhary. So many people have reviewed this book already, and I'm sure you must have seen it on Booksta. I think the author's marketing team is working so well and so hard. The publicity that they are gaining is for good reason, because this book is really well written. I love how she writes, how sensible it is, and how mature it is. Even though this book is marketed as a romance book, I just feel that it is much more than that. There are conversations about families, about independence, about feminism, about a woman's rights, about politics most importantly. And that is something that I liked, because politics even rules who you love and how you love in our country. There are some filmy scenes here and there. So yeah, initially I thought that it would be a really fluffy, giddy romance, but that wasn't the case. Maybe some people who are avid romance readers might not like this, because what we see in American and English romance books is completely different from what we see here. This one is a little more mature in terms of its themes. The third book that I read was called Cold Enough for Snow. It was a book club pick for the Writers Reading Book Club. It was great. I realized in that book club meeting that my way of reading and analyzing a text is so linear. When I'm surrounded by writers, by published writers, it is so different. They also analyze certain parts of the books that I would completely miss. And I think that's the beauty of the book club and this book also, that it helped me get so many new perspectives This is one book that I want to read again before the year ends because its meaning is so subtly drawn, and there's not just one meaning, there can be multiple meanings. One book that I probably should reread. Those were all the books that I read in Feb, and now it's time for the books that I read in March. You know, when I said Shrishti Chaudhary's romance is not like American and English romance novels that you read, I was talking about this book, Book Boyfriend. Oh my god, oh my goodness, I was giggling, laughing. It's a proper enemies to lovers book. It's called Book Boyfriend, and this is what I needed. This is the kind of romance that could revive the romance reader in me. I haven't read a romance book in a long time, so you best believe I needed something that could get me back from the dead. I'll tell you what the book is about. Jennifer Worth lives to escape into the world of her favorite romantasy series, Elysium Courts, where the romance is swoony and the men are brave and chivalrous and winged. Newly single and craving connection, she travels to an immersive fan experience only to see the last face she expected. Scott Daniels, her enemy in Office. Except the Scott she encounters there in his second-hand cosplay outfit is different. Swaggering, flirtatious, confident, unlucky in romance himself, Scott is determined to remake himself into the perfect book boyfriend. Jennifer has no interest in helping the man who vexes her every workday and dismisses her fictional fantasy. But as the convention activities force the unlikely pair together, they are surprised to discover magic like none Jennifer has ever read about. Is enemies to lovers romance only for books, or can Jennifer and Scott bring that fantasy to life? Oh my god, I don't need to say anything about this. This was sent to me by Pan Macmillan India, and I love them so much. Second one that I read is a short story collection called The Unknown Errors of Our Lives by Chitra Banerjee Tivakaruni. At one point in my bookstore journey, I was just reading her work. So I got a couple of books that I had not read. This was one of them. There are two more books on my shelf that I've not read. One is Mistress of Spices and the other one is Arranged Marriage. So those are the books that I've not read. I read this one and I'm so happy. She writes with such ease, and these are stories that are intertwined in family struggle. Some of them are internal struggles, some of them are about love. Most of them are about these crossroad moments that one experiences between culture, between past and present, between traditions and newer experiences. And I think that's what her USP is as a writer. Though I would say that the writing is not as mature as you may have read in Independence or The Palace of Illusions or The Forest of Enchantments. Of course, I think this was written way before those books came out. So you have to take that into consideration when you read it. Don't judge it too harshly. In the end, I also got a little bored of the stories because I thought that they were following similar themes and the novelty of it eroded. So that was the last book that I read, and the book that I'm currently reading, which is our pick for this month. And by pick, I mean I asked people on my broadcast if they wanted to read a book together, and we decided that we would read Good Material. I don't know if people would turn up on that Google Meet link, but we are meeting online on 29th March, and you can DM me and I can add you to that group. Yeah, we're going to read and discuss this book called Good Material by Dolly Alderton. Alderton. Oh my, the way I'm always confused about books and the author's name and how to pronounce their names. One should prepare for these things. A little backstory on me and Alderton. I read her book, Everything I Know About Love, I think 2-3 years back. And back when I read it, I absolutely hated it. Maybe I wasn't in the right headspace, because how could I hate a book so much that other people loved immensely? But with me, I always want to explore other books that the author has written. Same goes with Miss Rooney here. Did I pick the right book? No, this. Yes. With Miss Rooney's work, I've read Beautiful World, Where Are You? I've not read Normal People and Conversation with Friends, but I've watched those series. My favorite is Conversations with Friends. Might not be a popular opinion, but what I'm really trying to say is that there are times when I don't like a certain book that the author has written, but other books turn out to be really nice. And I think this is the one that will make me love Alderton's work. I haven't read much, but I can tell you for a fact that this is great writing, clever humor, amazing way of storytelling. And as I move further, I'm gonna update you on the progress. Yeah, those are the books that I read in Feb and in March, and the ones that I'm currently reading. And if you want to keep watching more of these videos, then you can subscribe to my channel. The next vlog, we are gonna read Intermezzo together.